In Matlab, a mono signal is represented as a column vector with many rows and a single column. A stereo signal is represented as a matrix with two columns. The first column is for the left channel. The second column is for the right channel. The first thing we're going to look at here is how we can take a mono signal and save it as a matrix with two channels. We'll experiment with playing back a stereo signal over our computer's loudspeakers so we can listen to it, and then also how we can save a stereo file out onto our computer's hard drive. In this demonstration, I'm going to take a mono audio signal and turn it into a stereo audio signal. In Matlab, a stereo signal is represented as an array with two columns. The first column is for the left audio channel, the second column is for the right audio channel. Let's begin this script by importing in a mono signal. So here, we're going to use this acoustic guitar sound file that we've worked with before. We'll use audio read and put in the name of the sound file, acousticguitar.wave. We're going to use the assignment operator, create two new variables. We'll call the first one mono signal. That's for the actual samples in the signal, and then the sampling rate. Now we can run the script, create these variables. We can look up in our workspace and see that mono signal is an array with a single column and a bunch of rows. This would indicate that it's a mono signal. If we would like, we can even listen back to this signal. We should hear it coming down right in the center over both of our headphones. So we'll put in mono signal and the sampling rate. Now when we run our script, we should be able to hear the signal over our speakers. As we continue on in this demonstration, I'd encourage you to listen over headphones or some way that you can verify that what you've created is actually in stereo, whether you hear it on the left or on the right. So let's move on. We can comment out this code. Next thing we're going to do is create an array of zeros. The way this is going to work is we're going to concatenate some zeros on either the left side or the right side, on either column 1 or column 2, in order to create a stereo signal. So here, let's create an array of zeros. This will mean that we're actually just going to play our mono signal out of the left side or the mono signal out of the right side, and nothing will be on the other side. So here, we're going to use the command zeros, and we can even say that it should be the same exact size of our mono signal. We can call this anything we want. Mono zeros. All right. Next up, we need to do concatenation to put it on either side. We're going to concatenate the zeros with mono signal. So we'll call this stereo signal. It's going to get, here we're going to use array concatenation. The way that it works is we want to put the columns here side by side. So we'll put on the left side, let's put mono signal. Then we're going to use comma to mean that then we put another column right next to it, and that will be the mono zeros. Now we can close off the brackets. Now we should have created a stereo signal. Let's listen back to it and hear that things have worked correctly. So in this case, our playback is going to be the stereo signal and our sampling rate. Should be able to run the script and hear the signal just on the left side, and the right side should just all be zeros. And if we look over here in our workspace, we can see that our stereo signal has two columns in this case and a bunch of rows, and the same exact number of rows as our mono signal. If we like to reverse it and have the signal come out over the right speakers, what we could do is switch the order in which we're doing the concatenation. So put the zeros on the left side and the mono signal on the right side. Finally, rather than play back this signal over our speakers, let's save it as an audio file and verify that we've created it as a stereo signal. So now we can use audio write. And we're going to put in here the name of the file. Let's call it acoustic guitar. And let's put stereo in here, .wave. And we're going to put the stereo signal as our output array. And then the sampling rate. When we run this script now, it should save a new sound file out here in our current folder. So we now have two sound files. Let's go out into the Finder, find this file, and check out some information about it. So come over here to my Finder. We're going to go into our current folder, which is at Documents, Matlab. Now we can find the acoustic guitar stereo file. We right-click on it and get info. What we can do is check and see that this signal, this file, has two audio channels and the same sampling rate and bit depth as before. And if we like, we can even listen back to it. I'll press the space bar. Now what we've been able to accomplish is taking a mono signal and turning it into a stereo signal to play it back on the left side or also on the right side.